Yeah, it's Andrew McKinlay. Jhye, congratulations with the overnight news. Mate, you haven't picked up a manager called Jerry Maguire by any chance, have you?
No, I haven't.
Serious question. In the midst of the shoulder injury, did you think this sort of day and that sort of figure would ever come?
Oh, look, I think it's obviously a nice bonus from where I was probably 12 months ago. All the questions sort of go through your mind when you have such a long recovery or such a big injury, whether or not you'll get back to your best. And I think especially with the Big Bash and putting all of my confidence in all of the medical staff around me, it's obviously a really good opportunity again, and a good challenge to sort of showcase a few more of my skills in subcontinent conditions. So really looking forward to it. And for me on a personal level, it's really reassuring to know that, I'm sort of back to where I was shoulder wise, which is really exciting.
Is the timing of the auction and the result you got, it couldn't have been better given what you're about to go into come Monday, the Australian team?
Yeah, look, I think it's always nice to give you that little bit more confidence heading into such an important tour. Obviously, first and foremost, playing for Australia is what I dream about. And to have a great opportunity to play again for Australia is really exciting. Again, off the back of such a long recovery, playing for Australia is what I'm concentrating on at the moment. Whilst the IPL is cool to think about, my focus is solely on playing for Australia at the moment.
Thanks, Jhye.
Cheers.
Next up, Andrew Menzel, and we might just keep it to one or two questions each if we can, guys, just so we can get through everyone. But Andrew, over to you.
Cheers. Jhye, congratulations. An amazing price. How much did that price exceed your expectations? And have you started to sort of cast your mind at what you might spend the money on?
Oh, look, I think, it's an amazing result. It's life-changing, to be honest. And it's so fresh. It's only happened last night that I haven't actually had a whole lot of time to process it. It's exciting. It's almost nerve-wracking. It's all of those things that just a lot sort of floods your mind. So I haven't really taken the time to sort of, decompose it all. So it's all really, really fresh. Haven't really thought about what's going to happen. At the moment, it's just sort of getting through the day and sort of watching my phone blow up and replying to a lot of messages and a lot of support from everyone. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Haven't thought too much about the rest.
Cheers.
Russell Gould.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I was on mute. Jhye, just wondering, did all you guys in New Zealand watch it together, given there were a lot of expectations among a lot of you, and obviously you're going to the same team as Riley Meredith, so I'm wondering if you sat next to each other.
Well, no, we didn't actually. I'm not actually too sure how many of the guys watched it. I watched it. I'm thinking that might have been not the greatest idea because there was a whole lot of emotion sort of going through my mind as I was watching it. But it was certainly a new experience, especially being sort of the first auction that I've really paid attention to and sort of my first IPL experience. So, yeah, it was certainly interesting, but now, loved every minute of it. But yeah, I can't really say too much for the other guys of who watched it or not.
And just one final one. You said your phone blew up. Who was the first person you called and what did you say to them?
Look, my partner Jess was at work, but my housemate was actually kind enough to sort of set up a phone call and sort of listen in together, which was really cool. So obviously the support coming from immediate family and my partner was overwhelming. And look, just a lot of friends messaging through, extended family, a few messages from the guys here, a few messages from WA back home. So yeah, that it was just all about sort of getting back to the people that mean the most to me, and they showed the most support. So
good on you, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, Russell. Jeff, over to you.
G'day, Jhye. Congratulations, mate. Mate, I suppose that the downfall of big bucks is that there's probably a bit more pressure on you to perform. Are you ready for sort of what comes with the big money?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I know it's a different sort of level, but as professional cricketers, we sort of deal with pressure on a daily basis. We know that a lot of people watch us in everything that we do. So, you know, now it's just about going about my business and trusting my game. We speak so much about trusting the process and sort of backing your routines and things like that. So I think now it's especially important to really concentrate on what I do well, what I have done well to get to this point. And for me, that's just enjoying cricket, regardless of the price tag. For me to have fun playing cricket is the way that I'm going to play it my best. So that for me now is just how I'm going to attempt to go about it, regardless of all the external noise and things like that. If I'm enjoying myself, then that's all I can ask for.
Ripper. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Paddy Sweeney, over to you. We got you there, Paddy.
Yeah, got you there. Sorry. Paddy, Jhye, it's Paddy from Channel 9 in Perth, mate. Congrats on a great result. You mentioned you were obviously excited about it, but did you have a figure in mind that you thought you could potentially achieve going in?
Not particularly, to be honest. I think these sorts of things are very unpredictable, and I think one of the worst things that you can do is really get your hopes up and then get shot down a little bit. So I tried to stay relatively open about it. You know, I think the worst thing that I could have done was to go in with such a high expectation and then probably not reach that. I think cricket especially is such a confidence game, and if you're sort of destroying your own confidence, then you're probably in trouble a little bit. So I certainly went in with an open mind. Didn't really have any sort of number that I was thinking of, just hoping firstly that I would get picked up at all. So, you know, that's the way I tried to go about it. Just tried to stay relatively level-headed.
And last one, mate, you mentioned your partner Jess there. What was her initial reaction once she realised you went for 2.48? And is there something that you've been eyeing off for a little while that you might want to treat yourself on? I know you say it's life-changing, but is there something small you'd like to get yourself?
Again, I haven't really thought about it. It's all sort of still just sinking in. It's hard to digest at this stage. You know, but Jess's support I've known her for so long now, her support through my whole cricketing career has been next level. She's been amazing. You know, she's always the one to sort of bring me down and sort of keep me at a level head sort of position. She texted me last night, obviously still being at work, just saying a massive congratulations and sort of, you know, making sure that my head was still screwed on. She's always been really good like that. So it's just nice to have people around you to sort of support you in that way.
Thanks, Jhye. Good luck this week as well.
Thank you.
Lockie McCurdy.
Thanks, Lucy. Hey, Jhye. Obviously, you kind of touched on the injury woes that you've had across the last 12, 18 months. Mr. World Cup, Mr. Ashes. Could you ever imagine how quickly this bounce back would be, and how proud are you of what you've been able to achieve to get this massive result at the auction?
Yeah, really, really proud. But also very proud of the people around me as well. I lent on a lot of people who have had similar experiences. I sort of lent on our physio team, our doctor team, all of the medical staff back in WA and Cricket Australia. I relied on them a lot to sort of reassure me about it all, because it was such a big thing to go through. Like I said before, there's so many things that go through your mind about whether or not you're going to reach your full potential, and things were going really well before my shoulder actually happened. So all those questions sort of flood in, and I had a lot of, you know, amazing people around me to sort of say that, yeah, you'll get back. And I sort of, the longer I heard it, the more I started to believe it. And when you believe in yourself, that's sort of when you can reach your potential. So it's been an amazing journey, but it's not over yet. You know, there's still plenty of things to concentrate on, i.e. this Australian tour, and, you know, potentially and hoping to make it back to Test cricket at one stage.
And just quickly, did you hear from any of the franchises before the auction? Obviously, Bangalore, they went hard for you as well. That's sort of what pushed the price up. And we saw Zampa present Maxi with a cap during the day yesterday. Did you hear from any of the other sides?
Not particularly. Like I said, I tried to just stay relatively open about it. I didn't want to overthink it too much. I didn't want to sort of, like I said before, get my hopes up and then get shot down a little bit. So I sort of stayed relatively chilled out about it. Didn't want to speak to too many people, and then just go with the flow.
Louis Cameron, over to you.
Thanks, Lucy. Jhye, did you actually know what you'd gone for? Like looking, watching on and trying to do the currency conversion. What was that like?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I was in a Discord call with a couple of my mates, and we were trying to work it out long before my name was called. We were trying to work out what people were going for and things like that. It can be a little bit confusing, but we got there in the end. And yeah, like I said before, the emotions just take over and you kind of forget and you double check it and you triple check it and quadruple check it. But yeah, look, it took a moment, and it's still sinking in at the moment. I was scribbling on papers with nervous hands and things like that. So still sinking in, but yeah, it took a moment.
Did you say a Discord call? Is that an app or something?
Yeah, that's just a TeamSpeak app.
Yeah, very good. And just in terms of maybe a shift in thinking, I know you said you're keen to get on that South Africa tour, and obviously you're in New Zealand. Is there more of a focus on T20 for you? Starting with this tour of New Zealand and with that World Cup on the horizon, is that a real focus for you?
Look, I think the focus for me at the moment is just to play my best cricket, regardless of that's T20, one days or tests or Shield cricket or whatever it is. For me, it's just about concentrating on what I've got in front of me at that particular moment. Obviously, the goal for me and the dream is to play more Test cricket, but whilst I'm not picked in that squad, what's happening in front of me is the most important. And for me at the moment is T20 cricket. That's just the way it's panning out at the moment. But the dream for me is to still get back to play Test cricket. And yeah, I keep saying it, but for me to enjoy cricket is one of the most important things. Concentrating on what's happening now and just enjoy it.
Good luck, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.
We'll go last two guys, Scotty Bailey and then Andrew Wu after that.
Hey, Jhye, just sort of following on from Louis' question a touch there. Obviously, last time you were in India, it didn't go too well for you with the shoulder. Do you sort of hope that a good IPL, though, could actually put you back towards or help your cause for a World Cup this time in a T20 format? Yeah, look, I think any competition helps. If you're performing well in any sort of competition, I think that's the best thing that you can possibly do, is just be confident in your own game and play well. Regardless of if it's with, your club team back home, or whether it's with your state team or your franchise team, I don't think it really matters. I think as long as you're comfortable with your game and confident in yourself, then, the performances will come. So I think it does help, moving forward. But yeah, I think just have to be confident in your own game first and foremost. And just quickly, that tour, obviously before the shoulder happened, my memory is you bowled really well that tour. Like, there's not many quicks who sort of enjoy bowling in India, but did you feel like the white ball pitches over there actually suited you in some way? Yeah, I think so. I think before my shoulder, I certainly had a few variations which I like to sort of play around with, and the Indian wickets suited that a little bit. So I think it just creates a new challenge, doesn't it? The wickets over there are so different to Australian wickets, that it's something different. And cricket's, as a team perspective, we always speak so much about adaptability and how we can change to the conditions, and how we can change to the things that we can't control. And that's really important. Whichever team can do that first, generally has the knack over the other team. So that it's just another challenge that I like to embrace. Cricket's all about challenges, and that's what we have to put up with. So that's what we try and do. We try and adapt. Gotcha. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Thanks, Scotty. And Andrew Wu, last one for Jhye here.
G'day, Jhye. Just wanted to ask you about the actual auction while it's going on. You were talking about how you had all these emotions going through you. Can you talk us through that I suppose, what you're feeling every time you see, they pan to a table and there's people putting up another paddle and your price is going up? Can you just talk me through, the emotions, if you even remember?
Yeah, well, I was looking, and I know my name came up, and I just got this wave of almost nauseousness, just not knowing what to expect. And for the first what to me felt like about 20 minutes, no one put their paddle up, and I was just one of those things where you're just like, oh no, you have no idea what's going to happen. And then sort of the first paddle went up, which was probably realistically 10 seconds or 5 seconds, but it felt like a lifetime. And then after that, I guess you just hope that it just keeps going up. It's a strange one because, like you said, I don't really remember too much about it. I don't know what was said. I don't know. It's almost a blank. I was watching it, but I felt like I wasn't actually watching it. It's a strange one, but after everything happened, you're obviously really, really excited, and then you just hit this massive wall. It was obviously pretty late at night for us here in New Zealand, so had all these emotions, was really excited, had a lot of adrenaline, had all these messages coming through on my phone, and then all of a sudden just completely crashed and was exhausted. So yeah, it's an interesting experience.
And how do you feel now after that sort of drain?
Yeah, I actually feel quite exhausted. I feel like I've played a game yesterday. I think I've just mentally exhausted myself of all these emotions of feeling sick and excited, and all of these different things that run through your head. It's still sinking in, that's for sure.
Thanks for your time.
Jhye.
Cool. No worries. Thanks, guys.